The Penguins might be running out of answers. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the National Hockey Now and the Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channel. The Penguins lost again. Winless in 7 now, the longest of Mike Sullivan's tenure and the longest in about 15 years. The longest since Sidney Crosby was a rookie in that awful team of way back when. And I say the Penguins might be out of answers because Mike Sullivan used the phrase, "We'll see what we can learn from it." There were no immediate or obvious answers on Saturday night. After Seattle beat the Penguins 3-2 here at PPG, the Penguins generally dominated the puck, generally dominated play, and generally outplayed Seattle everywhere except where it matters. And that's probably the most interesting thing and probably the most frustrating thing for the Penguins. They did most things right. The penalty kill was 2 for 2 technically, although they did give up kind of a rush goal just as one of the power plays expired. The penalty, or their power play, I should say, was nothing short of abysmal. The Penguins had a few chances early in the game, a couple in the first period and more in the second period, and they really didn't get anything going. No momentum, no oohs and ahs and applause from the crowd. Generally, it was flat, lifeless, listless. Chris Letang did get his second and third shots of the season on the power play on Saturday night, but there was not extended pressure. There was not that heavy sort of pressure where you can feel everything building. And there is a great danger. Ask Sidney Crosby. Ask Brian Rust about the great danger of gripping the sticks too tight. Didn't exactly get a negative answer from either one. Sidney Crosby just kind of was doing that. He was just doing that through his answers, because I don't think there's a lot you can say negative about the Penguins' performance on Saturday, other than a couple of busted plays wound up in the back of their net. The hockey gods are not smiling on them. That's okay when it happens once in a while, but when when you're winless, it's a losing streak, let's be honest. When you lose 7 in a row, those things tend to get magnified and everything seems a little bit out of proportion, just like the Penguins seem everything just out of whack. On Saturday night, Mike Sullivan shortened his bench just a little bit. The fourth line really only played several minutes of even strength time. Sam Poulin played about 6. Drew O'Connor played, I think, 4.5. So it was a kind of a 2.5 line team. In the third period, the Penguins did shuffle the third line just a little bit. The third line actually had some pretty good chances. As I looked at the numbers, they had a double Corsi. They had 8 shot attempts compared to just 4 given up. So the third line certainly wasn't a problem. They had a couple pokes near the net throughout the game as well. So did the fourth line. Poulin had a couple whacks near the net, as did O'Connor. But Sullivan, realizing that this game was vitally important, you really don't want to lose 7 straight. You don't want to lose any games, but there was just something about that 7th game, and they were going for it from the beginning. And I think there's a great lack of confidence, a little bit of lack of identity at this point, and they will practice Sunday around noon. And I would gather Mike Sullivan's not going to have a lot of sleep tonight. If he watched video all night long and came to practice on Sunday with a book of notes, that sort of wouldn't surprise me. The team had a little bit of a lighthearted practice on Friday. I don't think you'll see that on Sunday. I think they're going to get after it, and they're going to try to make some changes. Perhaps at this point you make changes just for the sake of changes. P.O. has played with Chris Letang a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit more. Maybe Jan Ruda jumps up to play with Letang, and Brian Dumoulin slides in with Jeff Petrie. Maybe Marcus Pettersson Pettersson and P.O. wouldn't team up, but you get where I'm going with that a little bit off the cuff. I wish I had better answers for you. The Penguins got the puck in deep. The Penguins didn't turn it over. The Penguins just didn't get that second chance. They didn't get that those wide open looks between the dots. The busted plays didn't go their way. So from PPG, I'm Dan Kingerski on the National Hockey Now and the Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channels.